Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Hope everyone's doing well. So earlier on, I saw another interesting interview of a heavyweight boxer that it's worth some commentary on. Dillian White, who, as we know, once contended for the heavyweight championship of the world against none other than Tyson Fury, was interviewed by The Ring magazine ahead of course, his upcoming main event against Britain's white-hot prospect. Would that be the right term? Moses Itauma. And we've spoken about this a little bit before when I noticed that Dillian White looked to be in, lean condition. Well, in this interview, he still looks good. It's because the previous interview was just sort of face, and I wasn't quite sure. But this time, he's like head and shoulders. He looks like he's in good shape, which of course is pleasing because I think, well, certainly myself, but I also think a number of you out there would like to see Moses Itauma properly tested. Because until he's tested, we really don't know how good he is. We've seen people before who look like mustard, but then when they're tested, not so much. In fact, Dillian White was also asked, like, why did you take the fight? And he's like, I want to get back in the mix. He feels like he's missed out on a lot of big paydays, which he has. And he said, that's why I ended up fighting in Cork and Gibraltar. He said, I know I'm being fed to the wolves here. So he seems to be very self-aware. But as he pointed out, he said, I've still got teeth. I can still bite. While, few people are giving Dillian White much of a chance, I think the bookies' odds are sort of like a plus 700 I read for Dillian White. I haven't seen them in my jurisdiction. They haven't posted them yet. But as the Ring magazine said, although he is being widely written off, White is old enough to know that opinions will mean little, and that history proves that the young, hungry favourite can often come unstuck. When he was asked by the interviewer whether or not he felt disrespected, like you're a famous former world titleist contender, and you're being asked to fight this young 20-year-old. Dillian White said, I don't feel disrespected. In life, everyone's got an opinion. Listen, I've been out in the long grass while he's been in the limelight. He's the new man. He's shining. He's knocking everyone out. He's doing this. He's doing that. There's excitement about him and stuff. And then he went on to say, but people's memories are short in boxing. You remember a few years ago when David Haye fought Carl Thompson. Carl Thompson was just a danger man that was in the wilderness. No one cared about Carl Thompson. David was blowing everyone away, smashing everyone's heads in. And then look, Carl Thompson showed up and got the job done. And that, of course, is, over 20 years ago. That's back in 2004. But again, a valid point he's making. And he went on to say, I am definitely the Carl Thompson in this scenario. We've seen it so many times in history. In this country, David Price versus Tony Thompson. And then recently, Martin Bakole and Gerard Anderson. I'm not sure if that's actually a good comparator, because I actually was certain that Martin Bakole was going to win. I think many Americans were thinking, Gerard Anderson's going to walk through Bakole. But I think a lot of Brits and this Canadian felt, he might have bitten off more than he could chew, which, there's a lot to chew if you're, on Bakole. But anyhow, he said, this is Dillian White, I don't want to give too much away because I know these guys in Team Itauma like to analyze. That's one of their specialities. and he said that Moses has got one thing in his hand. He's got the bliss of ignorance. He hasn't been tested. He hasn't been hurt. Right now, he's all positive. He's knocking everyone out. Sometimes it's great when you're inexperienced because you have a new idea, a new mindset, and you've got these fresh ideas. You just want to crack on and get stuff done. He's got that on his side. He's got the youth on his side. He's got the confidence, extreme confidence. But I'm confident in my own ability too. That was an interesting thinking. And then it got to possibly the most exciting part of the interview. I'm putting together two different interviews, so the written one and, of course, the video one. In the video one, he was asked about Derek Chisora. And he said that Charlie Uniform November Tango phoned me up. And I thought, what does that Charlie Uniform November Tango want? And phoned him back. And Chisora, apparently, according to Dillian White, said, like, why are you taking this fight? Dillian White said, look, I've beaten you twice. I'm not going to take advice from you. And then he went on to describe the relationship with Chisora. He said, he's a scumbag and he smells too. And there was a whole bunch of other highly unflattering comments he made about Derek Chisora. So clearly, no love lost between these two. But the way he described it, all these bad things, and he smells too. He should go away and brush his teeth. I thought that was, anyway, I laughed out loud. Maybe it was my sense of humor. Maybe you don't share that sense of humor. But anyways, Dillian White said this. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be down on Dillian White. Dillian White's certainly had some major problems. But I personally would like to see Dillian White do well. Not because of anything bad about Moses Itauma, but I don't like overhyped fighters. And as one of my subscribers said, it's like the reverse of the underdog. You want to cheer for an underdog, but when somebody is overhyped, you're like, oh God, already? Please, Anyhow, like I say, that's just my opinion, but you may think differently. Anyways, if you whether you saw the Dillian White interview or not, let me know what you think. I'll do probably next week a real better sort of prediction video. But for the moment, I'm pleased to see Dillian looking at least leaner. B, he sounds like he's realistic. And C, hey, I hope he can give Moses some rounds, because only then will we find out, like, how good is he? And then this, for Moses as well, like if he's, knocking everybody out in the first or second round, it's going to be harder for him to learn, I would have thought. But, anyways, we'll have to see. Just 2 weeks' time, just over. It'll be 2 weeks this Saturday. It's Thursday right now. There we go. That's all I've got for the moment. Please like if you can, share if you can, subscribe, please. It's free, and it would really help me out. And but most importantly, have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.